We're back with Doug Turnbull, Gridlock guy. You know, he writes a weekly column, right?
Correct.
Weekly column, finding a new topic every week. This week, talking about a sober topic. There's no doubt about it. That Whole County teacher who died tragically in front of his own house when he went to confront a group of students. Rolling his house with toilet paper, all part of a senior prank, just gone horribly wrong. And I believe charges since dropped against the kids. But it's just a terrible reminder of how dangerous a vehicle can be.
Right, and I know that sounds very obvious, and a 500-something word column could have been that sentence, is vehicles are dangerous, but it's something that we all of us, not just high schoolers and not just that professor, Jason Hughes, take for granted. Because cars are as much a part of our life as a cereal bowl, a water bottle, a toilet, a chair, except those things, unless horribly misused, aren't killing you probably, but a car can, and especially when it's not only car versus car, and we see plenty of that, but car versus human flesh.
Right.
And in this case, when I began writing this, I have to turn these in because I write it for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I actually have to turn them in like Tuesday. They don't publish till Sunday. And so there was still a lot unanswered. And there really is even still a good bit unanswered, but there was a lot unanswered early last week. There were charges pending, especially against the 18-year-old driver, and then lesser charges pending against the other 4 teenagers.
It's like littering or something like that.
Yeah. And then we didn't know exactly we didn't know exactly what led to, is this real? Is this fake? Did he actually confront them? Was it a fake confronting? And we found out it was playful. And in a statement from the attorney, basically he said there was nothing found that showed the kids did, and I know that's the attorney saying, but nothing found that the kids were doing anything way out of the norm. He was just going out to playfully confront them, and there was just a terrible mistake. But we've seen all too many cases with kids horsing around where one thing goes wrong. And basically the point I make in the column, and you can find it on the traffic page at 11alive.com, 11alive.com/traffic, is when you're, even as a driver, in complete control of a situation, all it takes is one of the variables around you to be out of control, and there's nothing you can do about it. In this case, these guys were in control. We're going to TP the house. We're going to drive away. What if they decided to fishtail a little bit, to show like we're fake getting away? And that's not necessarily what they did. Well, that's okay until somebody trips or there's somebody in your blind spot you don't see or whichever. The moment you decide to fishtail. Another thing I point out is, and we all know this, Reeves is only barely above this age, right? No, but I'm just playing. But it's age 25, I think, that's widely considered when the prefrontal cortex is done forming. And that's your decision-making, your judgment. And I tell a story just in a couple sentences in the column when I was a college-age student. That's that hitch between, there's a risk there and I'm not going to do it. And there's a lot less of that hitch when you're 18, 17 years old.
Sure.
When I was a college student, I was driving slowly in my church parking lot, and my brother had decided to sit on the trunk, stand on the trunk, something that even still, I look back, it was pretty harmless. And there was an adult, one of the kids' dads, that came run out screaming and cussing at us at church. But it came because he had known somebody that had gotten seriously hurt that way.
Yeah.
And that's just what I wanted to see is, especially summer driving season. AAA calls the 100 days between Memorial and Labor Day the 100 deadly days of summer because teens have time on their hands doing things, and this is just another reminder. One last point from the column. I did a recent Gridlock guy about the Lutzy 43 Foundation and their safe driving summits, and that was after somebody didn't take a car seriously and got killed, and they did a foundation. They do these safe driving summits for teenagers at high schools and colleges all over Georgia. A trauma surgeon from Wellstar told me that almost half of the cases he sees with teens that are hurt in automobile-related incidents, almost half of them are traumas from people that are standing in truck beds or unrestrained in Jeeps and things like that, and they fall out. So it's not a collision between two cars or car versus tree. It's just people that are horsing around, hey, we're going to all 7 of us ride down to Waffle House, and then you hit the brakes a little too hard in your open pickup bed, and then somebody can go flying out. So, again, just a reminder of the tenderness, the gingerness of life, and it can all change in a moment. And, of course, we pray for Jason Hughes, his family and community, and the kids no charges left, Dan.
Right.
No charges.
But they got to live with it forever.
Forever.
Can't imagine. Look, we thank you for your honesty in telling the church parking lot story. We've all We were all teens. We all did something stupid.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times behind the wheel of a car. And if it wasn't us making that decision, maybe we were in a car where a stupid decision was being made. And the driving age is still 16. And I don't know if that's going to change. Yeah. I got 2 young kids, and it terrifies the you-know-what out of me thinking about what it's going to look like. After this story happened in Hall County, I was on Facebook reading about it. And somebody posted on Facebook underneath one of the stories something that I saved in my notes to tell my kids one day. You always have to think about your actions and the potential consequences. It only takes a split second to make the wrong decision with major lifelong consequences. And maybe it's not you, maybe it's somebody you're with. So I guess my question to you is what kind of solutions did you come up with in writing that story?
Well, I mean, frankly, it was just this is a stern reminder. Take that extra second and think about what the repercussions. You know, that I think that's really what it is. I just know as seniors in high school, which I think this driver was, maybe all of them were, but certainly the driver was a senior, being 18 years old. You know, you're out late, you're doing fun stuff. You're like, oh man, I'm gonna race you to my friend's house,
right?
You know, and there's nobody out because you're out 1 or 2 in the morning. You're not supposed to be, which is past the curfew on most of the driver's licenses in that age group, by the way. And you just don't. That moment you look down to answer a text, the moment you just don't know when it could change. Another story. This is way more recent. I was literally doing traffic. So in my old traffic job, I had a 2-way radio in my car, and I had police scanners. You know, I love the police scanners,
sure,
right? I listen to those all the time. Well, one of my police scanners fell down right next to my foot. I had it improperly secured, and it fell down, and I reached down to pick it up, hit another car. This is during my traffic shift.
Oh, that's ironic.
Traffic reporter during my traffic
that's
shift.
Not a good look, Doug.
Who, when I got out of the car, the person whose car I rear-ended said, "Oh, Doug Turnbull."
Oh no.
And I'm just like, "Yep." Yeah. And
lesson learned. But it was just a split second.
A split second, and there was one guy who had a BMW he had just gotten repaired, and that's who got the most damage. It wasn't me. I drove away from it.
Yeah.
You know, after the police came. So you never know, even just ruining that guy's day to somebody getting hurt, what can happen. And we've all had a lot of close calls.
Yeah, we have. An important article out there. Go check it out for yourself right now. It's on 11alive.com. The Gridlock Guy. Hall County teacher's tragic death. A reminder, cars are not a toy. Thank you for the discussion today.
You got it for sure. And this isn't an appointment tune in or anything, but later this week, if we can fit it in, I'm actually going to be talking to someone here in a few minutes whose son died in a car that had bald tires, and he created. His name's Alex Bibiak, the father who created the Road Ready Foundation, and they've got a new partnership with the Cobb County Police Department. So I'm going to talk to him and see what that's about. And he's about to go to Washington to lobby to get safer tires on our cars.
Wow, no kidding. Okay. Looking forward to that.
Yes,
That'll
sir.
be later this week?
Yes, sir.
All
If
right.
Reams allows it. He's the gatekeeper.
Reams, can we make time?
I think we can find some time.
Okay. See you later this week,
Yeah,
buddy.
absolutely. Thank you, guys.